Welcome back. Well, yeah, still talking about the outcome of the Edo governorship elections. We've got Mr. Tunde Bankantini here with us. He's a member of the APC and also a former DG, Lagos State Sports Commission. Good morning and good to see you again today.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Well, you know, the way this turned out, of course, there's usually a backstory. Can you let us into some of this? What do you think happened?
Let me first thank the president. Against all odds, we had a very peaceful election, and with all the hype and the tension that was mounted, Edo State came and went peacefully, right? We lost to a better candidate of the PDP all of a sudden, and as you are aware now that the True Democrat came out to congratulate the winner. That is what the Democrats will do. The party has made a statement. The president has spoken as well.
So wait, if you say True Democrats have spoken,
yeah, because
we know that the APC candidate hasn't made any congratulatory message yet. Are you saying that he perhaps may not fit into that bill?
Has APC made a statement, yes or no? APC has made a statement accepting and congratulating the winner of the election.
So the comment of Isayama will be immaterial?
He's a candidate of the party. His name is on the ballot paper. APC was on the ballot paper. Do you understand me? So don't let, if he feels he has any other case than to congratulate the winner of the election that was closely monitored by everybody around the world, because that was an epic episode.
Does it suggest then that the leadership in Abuja and perhaps in Edo, they don't seem to be on the same page on this?
I don't understand what you mean by that. You journalists, you are there.
No, but you
saw what happened.
The backstory, which is what we're asking you to tell
what is the backstory? The build-up to the election. The build-up to the election, you guys are very much aware. Everybody will run to you for their side of the story. Even there was a paid advert on this election, you understand me, going around the whole major channels in the country, you understand me? But the party position was clear, and the government position was clear.
Why do you think your party lost?
We lost for two reasons. I was in this studio a few months ago, and I spoke about the manner of the former chairman, and I believe my brother took me on there, and I told him clearly he only has one vote, period. The manner at which you disregard a sitting governor in a state where you have only one senator against two of PDP, I mean, they don't even know what was on the table.
This is in a way, this is in a way, you know, corroborating the question that, you know, Chamberlain asked, that perhaps there is a crack in the palace.
Excuse me, what we saw, if you remember what Aaron Wilson said, he said, a day is a long time in politics. It has come to play. Oyego trying to stop Obaseki, consumed him as a party chairman, consumed him politically. So, on a personal vendetta, Yoruba man will say, "Toba form olagbo ma fokun le fun ni."
You said Oyego tried to stop Obaseki.
Sorry, Oshiomhole tried to stop Obaseki. That consumed him. And right as we speak now, probably we might be seeing an end to a brilliant political era.
You know, when you began, you said that your party lost to a better candidate.
Of course, we did.
When did you realize that he was a better candidate? Because
when did we realize that?
All through the while.
It was realized, excuse me, it was realized probably 5 years ago by even the then chairman himself.
So why did the APC keep marketing its own candidates when you knew well that the PDP had a better candidate?
Excuse me, you know something, I'm a very realistic person.
Right.
I'm a Lagos-based politician. The person that was based in Edo State, the governor of Edo State then, Governor Oshiomhole, came out. He worked with Yise Yamu closely. He worked with Obaseki. He came out and said Obaseki was a better candidate. And Obaseki went on, won the party ticket, became the governor of the state, right? And all of a sudden, for personal reason, there's only one captain in the ship. Period. Obaseki is the governor of Edo State. You are the former governor of Edo State. What does Jonathan, is it Tabrani with Buhari? Is telling Buhari what to do?
I understand that backstory. I'm just saying that, yes, that happened. But all through the campaigning period, you kept marketing, using your term now, a product that was not good enough. By those
who believe it was good. After crucifying Yamu.
I'm talking from the national leader of the party all the way down.
The point is that, you see, you know something, esprit de corps. You understand me? We had gotten the candidates which we know, right, in our conscience, that he was not going to win the election. The sentiment of the people are high. How will you disqualify a sitting governor from a primaries? Why don't you even allow him to go on the field and defeat him on the field of the primaries?
But it happened in Lagos.
Because Lagos' story was a different story. It was never challenged. And the same Oshomole did the same thing in Lagos.
Okay. We need to go to break, pardon me. But we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Sunrise. Not to worry, you didn't miss anything because we still got Mr. Tunde Bankantini here with us. You were talking about, he played out in Lagos.
Yes, played out in Lagos in a manner that nobody expected the then governor to just back out like that. But he did. He did. He had every reason to go out and fight for his mandate. But what happened? They brought in the so-called direct primaries, where they declared the current governor now, he had 800 and something thousand within the party. But in the general election, what did he score? In the same direct primaries, they gave the president 2,272,000 votes. In the general election, the president scored 580,000 votes. So
those direct primaries are what, inflated figures?
You answer it yourself for me. If I tell you within APC, 2,272,000 voted for Buhari for the primaries, and in the general election, 580,000 voted for him in the primaries, in the general election. Same thing for the governorship election. In Lagos State primaries, Governor Sanwo-Olu had over 800 and something thousand votes within the party, within the APC members in Lagos State. What did this score for the general election in Lagos State? So Lagos State was a different case entirely, where the governor stood back. What happened to us in Zamfara? What happened to us in the rivers?
Okay. Yesterday we spoke to the governor of Kaduna State, and he said that yes, the polls showed that they were leading 3 weeks before the election. That some things happened, which perhaps the party will have to look inwards and see where did they get it wrong. Yeah, APC. Where did they get it wrong? But people have attributed it to different things.
Okay. Like,
some even talked about the clip that was made by Asiwaju about the elections. Some thought that there was supposed to be a grand finale in Edo, but that didn't happen. What do you think about those two areas?
See, I even add a thought to it, which I start from. I will start from that position. One, the manner which the former chairman of Shomole turned the election to a personal issue, right? To a very personal issue, did not help matter at all. When people know what the relationship you guys had together, right? And people testify, the people in Ondo State said, this governor is a performing governor. So for you to bring somebody you call a thief, you call names already, to somebody you said God win and God will always win at any point in time, was a difficult hurdle. Second thing, Asiwaju video, Asiwaju broadcast, I don't know who advised him. I don't think I can imagine the damage that did to the party in the state. What is his stake there? Is he the chairman of the party in the state? Is he the South-South chairman? Is he the national chairman? If you call yourself a Democrat, please, let's define what the Democrat is.
He is the national chairman of
your national
party.
leader.
National leader.
What does that connote? What does that mean? Where does he sit in the party? When we had crisis in the party, was he invited to solve the crisis? Was he in that meeting? When this committee that has not congratulated this Governor Obaseki.
But didn't they visit him afterwards to explain why certain things are going on?
They visited all the 6 geographical area. And the visit is more than visit. It's for the future of the party. How do we move forward? We realize that the registration of the members of our party is not right. We have to start the new registration very soon. So if you go out there, that you are in Lagos, you sit in Lagos, you are telling people in the next house to go and vote for somebody on what premise?
But you said esprit de corps. That's
yes,
what you said earlier. Isn't that part of esprit de corps?
Esprit de corps that has cost us one of the reasons that we lost Edo State. That's what Edo no be Lagos. That has been out. That has been a slogan even before your broadcast. You still went there, or you sat down in Lagos and you are telling them you are a Democrat.
Is Ondo equally dicey?
Well, the way things are now, I'll be honest with you, we have to work extra hard in Ondo State. So we don't expect anybody to go and broadcast anything in Ondo State. Let Ondo State people handle their issue. Let Arakunri face his people and win the mandate he won 4 years ago.
When you say your party has to work extra hard,
yeah,
what does that mean?
Because a deputy governor left the party, right? We know his strength. I will not deceive you. Agbola is not a pushover. We know where he was a former House of Rep member. He was a former local government chairman, right? He did a major role. We know where he came, where he's coming from.
But he couldn't secure the ticket.
From the water side.
He couldn't secure tickets
of PDP. How will he secure the ticket in PDP? He went there in how many days? And he scored about 600 votes. That will tell you something.
Is that political miscalculation?
On his part? Mm-hmm. You see, when you don't have that thing, you don't have it. Right? He wants to
the political calculator?
The calculation he made, if I were Jagede, I will make Agbola my running mate. Simple.
To replicate what happened in Edo State.
I mean, Ondo State, I'm telling you, it should be hard, but we will win Ondo State.
Oh, that's the extra hard. Okay. But we also have two gentlemen who have got some perspectives. Well, Victor Gewa is a legal practitioner. He did observe the elections there, as well as Emmanuel Igbini, who also observed the elections, but he has equally contested I think 3 times as governorship candidate of his own political party. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Well, let me start with you, Mr. Igbini. Could you talk to us about what you saw? You were also on ground before you left the town after the elections. What did you see, how this played out?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I grew up in Benin City. And I can tell you that even before Oshomole and Governor Obaseki fell apart, there were serious challenges in the state, particularly in Benin, where I grew up. The people, a lot of insecurity because of the way young boys have been recruited into violent crimes by politicians in that state. In December 2018, I went back to Benin, precisely Ego local government, where you have their headquarters, because that's where I grew up. And when I was there with my friend, who is even a serving Major General, we all grew up there. We went with the intention of motivating the young ones we left behind to say, look, with hard work, commitment, because we never indulge in any of these things, that you can be a Major General or you can be somebody like me. But guess what we saw? These young boys in their 20s were neck deep in courtism, armed to the teeth, to the extent that during the burial of one of our mother, right at the headquarters of Ego, which is just behind, in front of our house, During the burial ceremony, broad daylight, musicians started celebrating these court boys, mentioning their name, hailing them as head of so-called group, the other one head of so-called group. We were shocked, in total disbelief. In 1979, we had an election. I was then in secondary school. I didn't know that election was going on because there was nothing like violence. In 1983, when we had Ogbomudia, Dr. Ogbomudia, may so rest in peace, one of the best governors we ever had in Bende State, and his other candidates, we never had any of those things. As of 2018, was there any crack between Oshomole and Obaseki? The answer is no. What has now changed? I have listened to a lot of commentaries with due respect. Praising an election. Where? How? We must tell ourselves the truth. All this pretending that all went well, there was a peace rally. Chamberlain, my brother, please critically review the peace rally conveyed by our revered Oba of Benin. Listen to him carefully. Listen to him very, very carefully. This election that you are seeing, whatever they have done now, I'm afraid for those who are celebrating, I feel pain. Go back to that about 1 hour plus video clip of the Oba of Benin comments. It is loaded with things that should concern us. Edo is not the same again. People blame Oshomole, blame Ashuwaji and the rest of them. Go back to that video. I'll keep repeating it. Go back to the video. And it will tell you a lot of things. Don't even understand.
Can you hear me?
Pretending not to know. I don't want to go
I need to check if you can hear me. Can you hear me
because
actually?
Both candidates, because we have a 14 candidate election.
If you can hear me, tell us quick. People need to know. You say you're afraid for those celebrating. Why?
Because the state is not deeply divided. If I say go back to the video of the peace rally conveyed by our revered royal father, the Oba of Benin, watch it carefully. And you will see that he raised very fundamental issues that nobody probably, or some people are scared to discuss in the open. I told you as of 2018, when I visited Benin, where I grew up, a local government headquarters, to be precise, our house is right behind it. We used to have street football matches in that land where they have the headquarters. And what did we see? I went with my childhood friend, who is a serving major general in the Nigerian army, well respected. We went to motivate young ones, but what did we see on ground?
Okay, well, we'll get that point you made earlier as well. Let me bring in Victor Giwa. He was also on ground, and still is, I reckon. Mr. Giwa, yes, you observed the elections, and then they've talked about the conduct of the umpire, the security component, how the people conducted themselves. Do they all contribute, and to what extent, to how these elections turned out? What did you see?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chamberlain. We were in the various local governments, about the 18 local governments in Edo State. And like I said in one of my interviews, firstly, the security agency, for the first time in our record of observing election in Nigeria, they conducted themselves, orderly. They were civil. They were people-friendly. They were designed for the purpose of the election. I must tell you, we have all the various security agencies deployed, for the Edo State election. I saw the DSS. I saw the Nigerian Police Force. We saw the Nigerian Immigration, the Custom. We saw the Civil Defense. And all these security agencies, they were deployed to specific area. The military were in the highways. They were within the highways and the borders, the bordering areas of the state. The civil defense were patrolling. The police and the DSS Some of them were at the polling units unarmed. And so they conducted themselves in such a way that it provided to a very large extent the environment for us to have a free and relatively fair election on the 19th of September in Edo State. Also say that the people of Edo State also played a very key role in ensuring that not only did they come out to vote, but to ensure that their vote counts, that their vote is protected. At a point somewhere in East and West, when we visited some of the polling units, I was shocked personally when I got to a particular polling unit. All the voters were seated, and myself and my colleagues were surprised at why were they sitting down. And they told us that they were sitting down because they have finished their voting. That was about 2:30.
Mr. Giwa, thank you for just one moment. Let's bring this back to the studio. You've spoken about what your observation about the elections and all of that, and the number of people, the way the people and the security agents compose themselves. But the interest here, Mr. Bankintini, is the people. There is that concern which we raised earlier with Bishop Kuka, the fact that much lower number of people, some 1.7 million plus registered voters were supposed to vote. They all had their voter cards with them, but just a little over 500,000 or thereabout came out to vote. How significant is that for you?
Well, it's very, very significant because the trend, if you look at the figures from 2003, when I believe, anyway, that's a magic figure anyway, 73%. That was the OBG days, the Obasanjo days in power, you understand me? But gradually, people are coming out and we are seeing the real, what about democracy? That is the honest truth. That is the honest truth. Because right now, it's very easy for me to tell you how many registered voters are in Gusape. You understand me? How many are accredited? So I can tell you what the results are going to be.
Okay, but let me take it back to your party.
Yes.
Your candidate in that election was, he put up a fairly good challenge.
Yeah.
More than 200,000 votes, even though, as you said, he lost to a better candidate. What kind of picture do you think that paints for you of your party's candidate status in the state?
Well, don't forget that party was the only party in the state. So that is a factor one, right? And in politics, you stay loyal to your cause, to your party. But in this election, Ezeyamu is not a pushover in Edo State politics. With due respect to him, he's not a pushover at all. He's more entrenched in politics even than Obaseki. But a lot of things work against him. Let's take that away. That is the fact.
What are the things that worked against him?
I've said it here, that for me, it's a true reflection of democracy. I feel good. I'm an APC member. I feel good that Obaseki won that election. Because I'm telling you, I feel good about it. Because it's end to Godvadarism starting. Let the people's vote count. How many people will do a 4-year tenure? You want them to, then you come out and say they're not doing what you expect them to do? Then you want to cut them short? When you yourself did not, you are not cut short of your own term allowed by our constitution. When are we going to stop that kind of mentality?
Is this
even in America?
When you say this is just starting, is this crack going to get wider for the party ahead of 2023?
You see, there is only in few places, and I'm sorry to say, in few places that you see this kind of dictatorial tendency, that it has to be dictated, even to the councillor level.
Sir, who's dictating to who?
The leaders of the party, especially in Lagos State.
The current leaders of the party?
In Lagos State, yes. That is the fact. And that is what Oshomole was trying to do in Edo State as well.
Isn't there a way your constitution, the constitution of your party, checks that kind of activity or action?
I mean, we are entering a new era now in APC, right? And what has happened in Edo State has shown, you know what, I mean, go out there, do what you have to do, stand up for what you believe in, and you get results. Some of us have that belief. I will not be dictated to by anybody.
But you haven't answered the question. Is there a way that the party constitution, you know, allows or disallows or discourages that kind of thing? And if it happens, is there a disciplinary measure?
You see, the point is that no party constitution or party document will allow unfairness in black and white. But when you have troops already who are totally compromised, right, who believe they don't have a voice, he showed he had a voice. That was what made the difference. Majority of Lagosians, APC members have lost their voice. So I'm telling you, they don't have the voice.
I'm just wondering then, do you agree with that statement credited to the former governor of Imo that there is no more APC, all people have is respect for the president?
No, I disagree with that. No, entirely. That was, I mean, I mean, maybe he's trying to make another statement entirely that is probably misrepresented.
So you don't see the party splitting across the four pillars?
No. You see, the point is that some people will leave the party. Some people will leave the party.
Like who?
Just watch. They will leave the party. Just watch, they will leave the party.
Any idea of the caliber of the people that will leave the party?
Maybe the biggest caliber, the lowest caliber, they will leave the party. But the party will survive. People left PDP. PDP survived.
No, I'm talking about the four pillars that came together to form the party, not the PDP. Do you think that one of those pillars
we could see that even a pillar is gone already. PDP is almost gone now. Atiku left. Tambawa left. Saraki left. So it's not, I mean, and the party is still standing. Do you understand?
So is it the ANPP or the CPC or which of the pillars now is?
Or the ACN. No, what I will assure you is that some will leave. Not all the PDP that came left. Some are still there. Not all the ACN that came will leave. Some are still there. The CPC, people like, what's his name again? This Buba Galadima. He left. The party is still standing. So it's not that the party there will be crisis in political organization. Like any group, there will be crisis there. But the point is that if the crisis is coming out of fairness and fair play, I'm telling you, this party will survive. And with this announcement that has been made by the president and Boni, the acting chairman of the committee managing the party now, fantastic idea. That is democracy. Those are Democrats talking, accepting a position of the people that they have spoken loud and clear and they've elected a governor for their state.
In other words, when we say watch this space, the only thing is that you may need to watch it up to 2023.
That's a long watch.
It's a long watch.
Next day.
For maybe regular people.
A day is a long time in politics.
So there you go. So that's how far we can go this morning.
A day is that long? How long is 2 years?
Well, we can't go any further than that this morning. Well, Mr. Tunde Bankantini is a member of the APC and former DG Lagos State Sports Commission. We have also had Victor Gewa, who is a legal practitioner and also an election observer, observed the Edo governorship elections, as well as Emmanuel Igbini, who is a national president, vanguard for transparent leadership and democracy, also contested elections for his political party. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us this morning. Well, that is the show today. We thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I'm Kayode Kikiolu.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Please keep safe.